The 2025 Nigeria Beach Soccer League kicked off on the 31st of March with 3 exciting matches in Brendan Kirby. In the opener, defending champions Kada BSC dominated Kirby United with a decisive 10-2 victory. Maman James and Dozier Frank led the scoring charge for the Kaduna-based team. Now, the evening match saw Jigawa Golden Star edge out Niger BSC in a close 4-3 contest with Sadiq Balogun among the goal scorers. The day's final game ended in a 4-4 draw between Ibom BSC and Anambra Beach Soccer Warriors, with Anambra claiming an additional point after winning 4-3 on penalties. Player of the match, Dozier Frank, credited teamwork for Kada's success, while Anambra Stanley Ekwo celebrated his bicycle kick goal. The league continues on the 1st of April with other fixtures, and of course, we have the results for you. We know that a game has been concluded. Niger BSC, that's Beach Soccer Club, lost to Kada BSC by 7 goals to 0. Now we've got Oyediji Oluwaseun joining us, Nigeria Beach Soccer League media assistant, and he's over there in Kirby State. Thank you for joining us, Oyediji, and we're glad to have you. Give us an update what's happening right now in Kirby. Okay, the network would not allow us. And for Jidechi, I mean, we keep talking about beach soccer, but Nigeria is not one of the best beach soccer playing nations in Africa. John, I stand to be corrected, actually, because we know that Senegal is a huge powerhouse when it comes to beach soccer, and they've been very, very consistent over the years.
Yeah, and it's actually sad if you ask me, because at some point we are at top of our game in Africa. When you remember the days of Abu Aziz, the 2015, 2016, 2017 era, Nigeria was really doing pretty decent on the continent and even on the world stage. We attended the World Cup at some point, and it looked like things we are going to skyrocket from there. But all of a sudden, just like we have with major of our football federations in the country, the federation drama also meant that the national team disbanded for a while. No national team matches. The leagues, even the football leagues in the country, the beach soccer leagues in the country, took a hit at some point. And it's actually sad, because when you look at what the likes of Senegal, Morocco are doing with their sports, Egypt even, you wonder if Nigeria shouldn't be on the same level, because, I mean, this country have the quality, we have the talent, and it's just sad that we are where we are right now. Even our league, I would say, is nothing to write home about. Who really talks about the beach soccer league in Nigeria? And this is something, literally, I played football on sand while I was in primary school. That's almost an equivalent of beach soccer. You ask me, it's almost an equivalent. And there's no reason why we should not be having these things from the grassroots up to the national team level, being taken care of, and talents being churned out year after year. So it's really sad the way we treat sports in Nigeria, whether football, whether beach soccer, whether volleyball, basketball, whatever it is. There's this attention, there's this level of nonchalant attention we give to sports in Nigeria, and it's actually really, really pathetic, if you ask me, because Nigeria really don't have the quality to dominate sports in Africa, and even dominate sports globally.
Definitely, and hopefully we'll get to talk to Abu Aziz, one man who plays for the Nigeria Beach Soccer side, and we hope that we can get more insights from him as to what exactly is going on with beach soccer in the country, because we need to develop these talents who play, we call it Sansan football, and hopefully we can actually topple Senegal at the top. And on the world stage as well, we can then begin to do better in that aspect as well. Let's talk about some of the games that will go down today. One has actually finished. Niger took on Kada, and Niger lost that one 7 goals to 0, while the other games that will go down will be Manko Patigi, will take on Anambra Beach Soccer Warriors, while Kirby will take on Ibom BS. We told you earlier, Niger has played against their opponents, and they lost that one 7 goals to 0. All right, away from beach soccer, rather let's go on a break. When we come back, of course, we'll be talking a lot of football, because the CAF Champions League is back. We'll have Premier League games later today, and Mikel Arteta is saying something about the transfer market. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. It is Still in the Game on News Central TV. You can also join us online and subscribe to our YouTube channel at News Central TV. All right, let's talk about football, and it has to do with age-grade competition, starting off with the Under-17 Africa Cup of Nations, which sadly Nigeria is not participating in. And looking at the results of games already played yesterday, Tanzania lost to Zambia 4-1. Burkina Faso defeated Cameroon 2-1. South Africa beat Egypt 4-3. And today, Senegal will take on Gambia, Mali versus Angola, Somalia versus Tunisia, Cote d'Ivoire versus the Central African Republic. Jidechi, these type of tournaments, you would expect to see Nigeria feature, but it feels like everything seems to be falling apart for our football.
I mean, absolutely. It's just like we discussed before the break. Nigeria should be dominating certain things, especially the Under-17 AFCON. This country have 5 World Cup victories in this age grade competition, the Under-17 competition of football. We've won the World Cup 5 times. There's no reason a 5-time world champion should not be attending the continental version of the competition. It makes absolutely no sense. And it's actually sad when things like this happen, where Nigeria relaxes its reins on how things should go, and all of a sudden other African countries begin to dominate. It's just sad, if you ask me. The qualifiers was nothing to write home about. And the painful part is that it's not the first time it has happened. In recent years, how many of the 17 African AFCONs have we not gone for? How many of the 17 World Cup have we not gone for? It's becoming more of a thing right now than the tournaments we go for and the ones we win. It's beginning to look like we don't attempt to we go and win the World Cup, and then all of a sudden the next one again we don't get to qualify for. It's just becoming pathetic, if you ask me, and that's why you see the likes of Senegal, Morocco taking over right now. Senegal, I think one team I'm particularly looking forward to seeing how they perform at this tournament. The defending champions, they did this thing last year, or rather in the last 2 years, where they tried to win every one of the world, of the African tournaments, rather, African football men tournaments, and Senegal dominated every single one of them, from the national team when they won in 2019 to the Under-17 to the Under-20, the beach soccer even. And I'm particularly curious as to how they will continue in that vein, whether it would be just like the same time that they won the last Under-17 AFCON, if they would be able to go all the way to the final to win this particular one. But then again, you have the likes of Morocco, who are also investing heavily in their football, and they are definitely no pushovers these days in African football. And you want to ask yourself, with Morocco, the money that they're pouring in, will it eventually start showing in the men's football? It's been showing in the women's football. They actually not hold. They did qualify for the last Women's World Cup, did well in the last Women's AFCON. One of their teams were able to win the Women's Champions League. And you see how it's rubbing off. One will begin to ask, when will they begin to rub off on their men's national team, aside obviously from that one where they got to the semi-finals of the World Cup. So these are teams that are investing heavily in their football, and you see how it's rubbing off on their national teams, and that's just the only thing. We're not asking for too much. I mean, Udoka, I'm very sure you do not have many requests in terms of Nigerian football. You just have 1 or 2 requests, and that's for us to qualify for competitions like this. We're talking about the Under-17 AFCON today. Tomorrow we're talking about we are not qualifying for the World Cup. Even qualifying for the AFCON sometimes is an issue. Yes, let's be very honest. It's just that since the days of Genotron, we've really had it pretty easy qualifying for things, and we've gotten so used to qualifying that all of a sudden we forgot that it's a responsibility, it's a task that needs to be delivered on, and now we are back to the drawing board. We are back to square one, where we have to press calculator. We are back to the stage where we have to watch other teams play without us in the competition. It's actually sad, if you ask me. There's no reason for me to watch the Under-17 AFCON. I'm not a scout. I'm not sure you are a scout in your spare time. So what other reason do we Nigerians have to watch the Under-17 AFCON with our national team, our national youth team not in the competition? It's just painful, if you ask me.
I mean, struggling to qualify for tournaments. Even in cricket, Nigeria's Yellow Greens are struggling to make it through to the Under-19 Men's Cricket World Cup because they've lost their 2 games back-to-back, lost to Tanzania, lost to Namibia, and they're struggling to qualify for the World Cup. I just hope that this struggle ends this year. We'll qualify for these major tournaments, and going forward, we'll not have issues in the qualifiers, because Nigeria has been tagged a giant of Africa, and we really need to live up to expectation in whatever tournament we get to feature in. All right, still talking about sports. Yet again, Nigerian clubs are not even playing in the CAF Champions League and also in the CAF Confederation Cup. Now, following the exciting group stages, the 8 remaining clubs who advanced from the exhausting group stage of the CAF Champions League are set to battle it out in the much-anticipated quarterfinals. Hilal of Sudan, as far as Morocco, Espérance Sportive de Tunis of Tunisia, Mamelodi Sundowns, Orlando Pirates, both from South Africa, MC Alger from Algeria, defending champions Ahly and Pyramids FC, both from Egypt, are the clubs that remain in contention for this season's title. Now, of the 8 remaining teams, 6 have lifted the title before, with Ahly eyeing a record-extending 13th gold medal. Tunisian champions Espérance have lifted the continental title 4 times in 1994, 2011, 2018, and 2019, while as far were 1985 champions, Mamelodi Sundowns 2016 champions, MC Alger 1976 champions, and Orlando Pirates 1995 champions. They've each had a single title to their name. Hilal have been the surprise package of the competition, alongside knockout stage debutant Pyramids Football Club, who will look to emulate their Egyptian counterparts' success on the continent. Jidechi yet again. The best we've had in the CAF Champions League was Enyimba back-to-back winners. Now their name has been written in history, and they've been beating black and blue, all colors of the rainbow, anytime they qualify for the Champions League. Same has happened to Rivers United and other clubs, Kano Pillars as well. Now it seems like there's a glimmer of hope, that is, if Kano Pillars end up winning the MPFL this season, then qualify for the CAF Champions League. But again, what exactly is wrong with Nigerian clubs qualifying? Yes, they qualify for the Champions League because if you win your domestic league, you qualify for the Champions League or Confederations Cup. But of course, what happens when they get to the tournaments proper? They seem to fall apart.
First of all, I think I need to correct you. It's not Kano Pillars that are in line. Remo Stars in line to win the league.
Remo Stars,
yeah. To be honest, today's show seems to just be lamenting about Nigeria's football. It's actually, even at this point, I'm not sure I want to be talking about Enyimba and what they did. It's like, I mean, think about it, when people want to banter the likes of Arsenal, and Arsenal have not won the Premier League in a while. They don't bring up how Arsenal won it back then with Arion Ray and all of that. There are times when you get past a certain stage where you don't always bring back your past glory. Enyimba have well gotten into that point where we should not bring back their past glory. We should rate them alongside the likes of Rivers United, alongside the likes of Kano Pillars that have not won the competition at all. Let's call it what it is. No Nigerian team is performing in the CAF Champions League. Let's forget about Enyimba for a minute. Come on.
Wow.
2004, that's about 20 years ago. Or why are we still hanging on to a victory of 20 years ago? We should be getting something fresh. There's no reason why Nigerian teams should not be in this stage of the competition. And yes, I think I said that thing at the end of last season, that somehow I did lose interest in the league because it's no longer inspiring that teams get to perform in the league and qualify to represent the continent, the country on the continent in the next season's Champions League and Confederation Cup, and then go on to those competitions and perform abysmally. It's actually preposterous, because what's now the use of qualifying in the first place? It simply means, okay, at the end of the day, let's just win. Let's just see who wins the league and add it to the history and annals of Nigerian football. Yes, this person won the league. Let's just know that's what it is. Next season we go again. Let's not talk about trying to play in the Champions League, trying to play in the CAF Confederation Cup, because how did that always end? Always ends abysmally. Many times we don't even get our teams qualifying into the group stages. Not even to talk about the quarterfinal stages of this competition, this crucial part of the competition. We don't even get this a lot of times. Rivers United, yes, they managed to serve us that after a long while. They served us that back-to-back in the CAF Confederation Cup, where they made it into the quarterfinals and the semi-finals of the competition. But that's been it. That's already almost 3 to 4 years ago, and we've not gotten anything similar to that anymore. It's just annoying at this point, because why are we having a league where all the teams, everybody is talking about they want to? You go to Ibadan, the city of Ibadan, talking about how they've not played continental football in a very long time. They want shooting stars to get to the continent. What will happen when shooting stars get to the continent? Nothing. Canopilas trying everything they can to get to the continent. The one that even annoys me a lot of times is when I see the smaller teams trying to make it onto the continent. It's not like you're going to do anything different. I mean, we've seen this over and over again when the likes of Bayelsa United and when the likes of Ocean Boys, who else would I call again? Smaller teams making it. There's no difference. Ikorodu United, yes, you're talking about how they have performed so well. I'm not very concerned about how Ikorodu United are performing in the league. I'm more concerned about how well will they represent the country on the continent. Are they going to do any different? If it would be a smaller team that would perform better on the continent, then great, let that be so. Remo Stars, who I would have expected a lot much different from the last 2 seasons, it didn't pan out the way it's supposed to pan out. But at least somehow I do have a little bit of hope with Remo Stars, because the project is very clear. You can see that climb, that rise in Remo Stars since they got back to the leagues, I think in 2017 or 2018, and it's just been a steady rise. They just maintained that momentum. Finish second, now first, going for the league title, managed to qualify for the Champions League, went again for the Champions League. So it's there. It's beginning to tell that, yes, Remo Stars, they just need to get a little bit of experience and they would be able to do it. But then again, at this point, I would not lie to you. I'm actually tired because I just want to see success. I don't want to be fed. I don't want to be spoon-fed. It would maybe wait till next season. What's that line? I think the project, it's in the pipeline. I've forgotten what Arsenal fans or Manchester United fans use, or Chelsea fans rather,
trust the process.
Use for their clubs when they are trying to do it. It's a long-term project. I'm tired of a long-term project. It's been 20 years since I got served the CAF Confederation Cup or the CAF Champions League as a Nigerian football fan. It's been 20 whole years since Eyimba did it, or rather say 19 years since Eyimba did it. It's been a long time. We need something new. Heartland came very close in 2009. Unfortunately, it was not meant to be against TP Mazembe. I want to see. I'm tired of seeing the likes of Mamelodi, Sundowns, Tunis, Ahly, Hilal and Pyramids, ASFAR rather, to save myself that stress. Even Orlando Pirates, who are in the quarterfinals of this Champions League, they've not been here in a long time, and see them. They are here. I mean, I need something. Give us something. It's not difficult to ask. Nigerian clubs are just local champions at this point. It's tiring being local champions. It's what it is. We come on the local scene, on the MPFL scene, and perform, dominate so well. Everybody pick their tickets and then go all the way. I mean, think of El Kanemi Warriors last season. For some reason, they surprised everybody to win the Nigerian Cup last season, and then went on to the Confederation Cup and did not even make it past the first. It's just tiring. Rangers International, one would have thought somebody like Fidelis Ilechukwu has had experience on this stage with Plateau United, with MFM. He's qualified and made it onto the continent. And then with Rangers, you would have thought, oh, it's going to be different. But somehow they went on and still served what has always been said. It's just tiring, if you ask me. So yes, I'm not enthusiastic about the teams that are in pole place to pick up the continental tickets for next season, because the question is, will they make it to this particular stage where we would be watching our Ahly and Pyramids, where we would be watching Mamelodi, Sundowns and Orlando Pirates? Would they be making it to this stage of the competition? If they would, then maybe the interest would be there. But for now, you and I, we are very sure that there's a very high chance they would not be making it to this stage of the competition.
That's a sad one for club sides in Nigeria, because we keep talking about development. Most of these other clubs have actually developed themselves to a point where they can shoot down any club that they play against. Like some Shooting Stars go to the Champions League or Confederation Cup, they get shut down. Kano Pillars qualify for these tournaments, their pillars will be broken. Enyimba qualifies, the elephant loses weight. So it feels like nothing would happen for Nigerian clubs when we qualify for these tournaments. But I just hope that someday, because we have to hinge it on hope, that someday our football will do better out there. But looking at the fixtures for today, I will see Mamelodi Sundowns take on Espérance. Ahly will take on Ahly Hilal and Pyramids. There's MC Alger versus Orlando Pirates, while Pyramids will take on FAR Rabat. These are the games to go down today in the CAF Champions League. Away from that one now, let's go straight to the Premier League, because interesting matches will go down today. And of course, we had to go on a break over the weekend because we had the FA Cup games to follow in that one, and it was quite dramatic over the weekend talking about the FA Cup games. But now, midweek games in the EPL, and we see Arsenal take on Fulham, Wolves will take on West Ham United, Nottingham Forest will battle it out with Manchester United. And yes, Jidechi had to throw a stray bullet to Arsenal, saying that we'll go again next season. But talking about Arsenal and next season, Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta has claimed that the Gunners will have a big summer transfer window as they remain linked with striker Victor Gyökeres. Now, Arsenal are set to miss out on Premier League glory for the third straight year as Liverpool look poised to lift the title this season. As such, the Gunners are set to enter the 2025 summer transfer window with all guns blazing in a bid to improve their squad for next season. With a striker, the need of the hour as Gabriel Jesus and Kai Havertz struggle with long-term injuries. Jidechi, on paper, we hear that Arsenal want to buy Victor Gyökeres, a Swedish player who plays for Sporting Lisbon. There's also Alexander Isak, who is well experienced in the EPL, also a Swedish striker. And then Victor Osimhen, who we hear that Arsenal are no longer interested in bringing in Victor Osimhen. But of course, there's also a Benjamin Sesko who plays for RB Salzburg. I mean, looking at what, let's first listen to Mikel Arteta, then we'll come back, we'll analyze these strikers and what exactly Arsenal needs for next season.
First summers, it was going to be very big, and they were going to have different objectives because the turnaround of players and the objective of those windows were going to be different. But now when you're going to go again, first of all, we need to increase the depth on the squad, but as well, you want to increase certain quality and skills that we need to now go to the next step. It is going to be a big one, and we are very excited about it.
A big one, and Arsenal, they are very excited about the transfer window. Jidechi, what do you think is big for Arsenal? Because last transfer window, we heard it was going to be a big one, and yes, they brought in big players, in quotes, Kai Havertz and Raheem Sterling. So what should Arsenal fans be expecting come the summer transfer window when it opens later on?
I think what Arsenal needs right now for the club to seek is one of the most non-hidden secrets of football right now. Everybody knows what Arsenal needs. Arsenal are one of the best squads in Europe at the moment. One of the best. Let's be very honest with ourselves. The Arsenal squad, there's a reason why Arsenal fans are very, do I call it positive, that they can even match up to Real Madrid. It's because the squad is decent enough. As much as they are not on the same pedigree as Madrid, there's a reason why that hope is there. There's a reason why someone like me believes Arsenal can oust Madrid from the Champions League. It's because the squad is very solid. But just one thing is missing. One thing. It's not like many other teams where you have to fill in so many departments for the team to be balanced. This is a balanced team that just lacks one thing. An out number 9, a perfect striker. Arsenal needed that last summer. For some reason, they did not go get a striker. You do not easily get those big number 9s in the winter, in the winter transfer either. So you could have done that deal in the summer, and perhaps now Arsenal might have been fighting for the Premier League, but I mean, we were here last season and everybody knew what Arsenal needed to do. So I don't think it's hidden right now what the club needs to do. There are strikers. There's Victor Osimhen, who is very much cheap, unlike he was last summer. Very cheap, and you can go get him. There's Goikores, who is definitely going to be leaving Sporting at the end of the season. There is Sesko, like you mentioned, from RB Leipzig, although I'm not really a fan of Sesko. Of course, there's Isak, although Isak might cost an arm and a leg for Arsenal right now, and I'm very sure they might not want to go down that route. But then there's still Isak, who you can go and buy. Isak is delivering more than a lot of people would have predicted him to deliver this particular season. These strikers are well within reach for a club like Arsenal to bring in. They have a solid squad. There's nothing stopping this club from getting a proper number 9 that can bang in the goals for the club. And then Arsenal is good. The defense is solid. The midfield with Rice, with Partey, brought in, who is this person they brought in sometime this season? The Italian player brought him in at defense.
Calafiori?
Like the goalkeeping department, Raya has been a sensation this season. Just what are you talking about? Bukayo Saka is in the form of his life. Come on, Arsenal. There's only one thing to be done. I don't see a reason why Arsenal should not be getting a striker to make the squad a solid one. And the problem is, by next season, Manchester City might be back to their form. We can see how Omar Mamouche is performing. Erling Haaland might not have the struggles that he's having this season. Man City might most likely be back by next season. And we all know that Pep Guardiola is staying. Liverpool, with what they've done this season, might just go have it yet again next season. Chelsea, we saw when they gave a glimmer of what they can do on their very good days earlier in the season when they were doing we are not tied to contenders. We saw what they could do. So it simply means by next season it might be tougher. Manchester United, that are struggling right now, might actually have it easy next season, because by then, Ruben Amorim would have had every opportunity to push out the players he wants to push out and get in the players that he's ready to work with.
Yeah.
So it's likely going to be a tougher season next year, and you've missed a very good chance that you would have gotten the Premier League title just because you did not do that one thing you could have done, which is buy a striker. Come on. Arsenal needs to get a striker this season. I don't know who they would eventually go for, but there are 4 very hot and possibly market-friendly strikers at the moment that they can go for. Osimhen, Isak, I don't know why I keep going back to Calafiori. Osimhen, Isak, Sesko, and of course Goikores. These are strikers that you can go get right now. You can even go to Juventus and try to see if you can pull Vlahovic, if it's going to pull through. I mean, come on. I think it's very obvious what Arsenal needs to do to become proper contenders. But let's see how it goes. I do not work with the club. I'm not the one that's going to make the transfers for them. It's all up to them at the end of the day if they want to buy a striker or not.
True. You know, Arsenal have actually signed a new sporting director, and we hear that he is well interested in Victor Gyökeres. That news broke yesterday and is still trending up until now. But looking at these strikers that are on display, let's leave out Victor Osimhen, because there are rumors that they are no longer interested in bringing in Victor Osimhen. Now there's a Victor Gyökeres right there. There is Benjamin Sesko. You said you're not so much likened to the striker, but of course there's Gyökeres, there's Sesko, and Alexander Isak. Which of these 3, we know that Alexander Isak is well experienced in the Premier League, but which of these 3 do you think will come in and give Arsenal more push for the EPL title and other cup competitions?
I will be very honest. If I was the sporting director of Arsenal, I will do everything in my power. It's going to be possibly the most difficult thing to pull off, but I would go for the most difficult option, which would be Isak. It's going to be very difficult. Newcastle United are going to request for a lot of money, but there are things that pay off. There are investments that pay off. There are risks that are worth taking. Isak is that risk. I would do everything to go for Isak.
All right, doing everything to go for Isak, and I hear that it will be costing over 100 million for Arsenal to sign. But Mikel Arteta has said to us that the transfer window in the summer will be a very big one, and we would see a huge project right there at Arsenal. So we look forward to see what Mikel Arteta and his troops will do, talking about the board members of Arsenal and also the sporting director, what they will do with Arsenal during the transfer window. Looking forward to that one. Thank you very much, Jidechi, for joining us today. And I know it was a rant day on the show about how Nigeria's club sides, football, and other sports are not doing so well on the continent and beyond. But we just hope that things will get better for Nigerian sports. Thank you for joining today.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me.